Welcome back to the Delaware Way. There's a series of TEDx talks coming up in Delaware to help Delaware grow. Ajit Mathew George is the organizer for TEDx Wilmington. Thank you so much for being here, sir. I was looking at your resume, which is quite impressive. And at the top, the very first thing is Dream Builder, and that has TM for trademark. What exactly is that?
I got certified about a year and a half ago to become a life coach, and I had no intention of becoming a life coach, but I have mentored a lot of people over the last 40 years at no charge, and people kept saying, can I ask you to be my life coach? And I finally decided I needed to get certified in it, and as part of the certification, that certification process is trademarked, and that's how I got certified as a life coach. So I help people try to figure out what they want to dream and achieve the dreams they want to be.
Oh, how nice is that? So it's a real thing.
I thought maybe
you trademarked it.
No, I couldn't. It's a certified process.
I think everybody knows what a TED Talk is. And a TEDx, and correct me if I'm wrong, is just TEDx taking the same concept and making it local.
Right. The short version is in 1984, TED was created. In 2009, TED decided to allow local communities like Wilmington, Delaware, to have a TED-like event, but run exactly to the same principles that the TED organization ran. And so I applied in 2011 to get the license, and it's an annual license.
And real change comes from these TED Talks sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. In 2017, we will have a total of 11 different events. And we have our annual conference in August, which will probably feature over 30 speakers speaking about a diverse group of subjects. And most of the other TEDx events are narrow. For example, we are doing one that is in partnership with AAA on innovative trends in transportation. So we're bringing people from around the world who are going to speak about things like driverless cars and what is it really going to mean in transportation, because if we don't think of that, change is occurring in transportation in more ways than we can imagine. And we're going to do one in healthcare, which we did last year about emerging trends in healthcare. So those are what we call narrow subjects. We call them salons. And the annual conference is a diverse group of talks that don't follow a single theme.
Does it come down to Wilmington? You get specific to the neighborhoods?
Healthcare, for example, last year, which was done at Nemours, one of the speakers who works at Nemours talked about how when you go into a hospital, you hear the alarm sounds in a hospital room. You know, there's always a noise going on. It's meant to say there's a danger, but so many alarms go on so often that no one pays attention to it. And he talked about the dangers of ignoring alarms when you have so many alarms, and what Nemours is trying to do to change that.
I love the practicality of that.
So that's an example of taking a global subject, distilling it down and showing how Delaware is leading the way, and particularly talking about what Nemours is trying to do so that there's a way to separate what they say are normal alarms, that is just say your pulse rate just went up, versus something that's more serious. And that's the kind of talk we love, because what we're trying to do is use ideas worth spreading.
And that's a real solution. That's a real solution to a potentially big problem. This series that's coming up, I know you're looking for speakers now. Give us some of the topics.
So the one we really are looking for speakers is our annual conference, because we love people who have an idea what's spreading. It doesn't have to be a topic, because it's general. And what we're really, the talks cannot be more than 18 minutes, ideally 10 to 12 minutes. You can apply online. You don't need a recommendation. You don't need a referral. You can go to our website, which is TEDxWilmington.com. And you actually have the application is online. You fill it out. It's a comprehensive application. It's intended to weed out those who are not serious, but it's self-nominated. You have to nominate yourself. It doesn't matter how important you are. You have to nominate yourself. And then we look and say, do you have an idea what's spreading?
That's wonderful. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for coming in. Ajit Mathew George, organizer for TEDx Wilmington. That wraps up the Delaware Way for this week. Go to www.kjwp2.com to replay segments from this show or previous shows, and leave your comments about what you've seen on today's show on our Facebook page. Or you can reach me on Twitter at The Delaware Way or at Larry Menti. We may read your thoughts on a future show. I'm Larry Menti. We will see you again next week.